Listen up, watch fam. That Seiko you're eyeing? Dead wrong choice. I'm about to expose the 3 Seiko models that'll drain your wallet faster than gas prices, plus reveal the one sleeper hit that even Rolex collectors are quietly scooping up. This knowledge separates rookies from legends. You know what's wild? Last month, I watched a dude at the AD drop $2,000 on a Seiko Prospex that's been sitting on shelves since 2019, while the exact same movement sits in a $400 model that outperforms it in every category. That's the Seiko game right there. I mean, it's pure chaos disguised as luxury. I've been deep in this watch world for over a decade, and nothing frustrates me more than watching good people get finessed by marketing when the real gems are hiding in plain sight. Today we're breaking down the Seiko matrix because your money deserves better than pretty packaging and YouTube hype. The Seiko trap everyone falls into. Here's the truth bomb nobody wants to hear. Most people buy Seiko backwards. They start with the flashy limited editions, the collaborations, the pieces that look good on Instagram but perform like participation trophies on your wrist. Take the Seiko 5 Sports Street Fighter collection that dropped last year. YouTubers like the Urban Gentry and Teddy Baldassar covered these hard, showing off the colorful dials and special packaging. Retail price? $350 for a basic 4R36 movement wrapped in marketing genius. But here's where it gets spicy. That same 4R36 movement powers the standard Seiko 5 sports models that retail for $180. Same accuracy, same power reserve, same everything except the cartoon character on the dial. Yet people lined up like it was the latest Jordan drop. I'm not hating on collecting what you love, but when you're building your first serious watch collection, every dollar counts. That extra $170 can go toward your next piece instead of licensing fees for Capcom. The 3 Seikos that don't deserve your money. Let's keep it 100 about the models that look fire on camera but leave you empty inside after the honeymoon period. First up, the Seiko Prospex Solar Chronograph SSC490. This thing shows up in every best pilot watch under 500 video on YouTube. Worn and Wound featured it, Hodinkee gave it props, and half the watch community acts like it's the second coming of the Speedmaster. Real talk though? Solar charging sounds revolutionary until you realize it dies if you keep it in a drawer for 3 months. The chronograph pushers feel mushier than week-old bread, and that mineral crystal scratches if you look at it wrong. For $450, you're paying premium prices for entry-level execution. The second trap is any Seiko King, Samurai, or Sumo variant over $300. Don't get me wrong, these are solid divers that punch above their weight class. But the market went absolutely wild on these after Bruce Williams from Long Island Watch started pushing them heavy. The problem? Seiko saw the hype and started pricing these like Swiss alternatives when they're still using the same 4R35 movement from their budget line. A King Samurai SRPG that retailed for $250 in 2018 now goes for $400 plus. That's Rolex-level appreciation for a watch that's fundamentally unchanged. Third strike goes to the Seiko SSK line that launched in 2022. These GMT models look clean, I'll give them that credit. But $600 for a 4R34 movement that can't independently set the GMT hand? That's Swiss pricing for micro-brand functionality. Compare that to the Christopher Ward C65 GMT or even a used Tudor Black Bay GMT, and suddenly that Seiko feels like paying luxury rent for a studio apartment. The sleeper Seiko that's actually genius. Now let me put you onto the piece that's been flying under the radar while everyone's chasing Instagram likes. I'm taking about none other than the Seiko SSK001, but wait. Hear me out. Actually, scratch that. The real move is the Seiko SRPD line, specifically the SRPD 76K1. This might sound basic, but this 42mm automatic is doing things quietly that'll make you question why you ever considered anything else. First, it's running the 4R36 movement with day-date complications, same as those Street Fighter joints, but you can grab this for under $200 all day. The finishing quality is identical, the accuracy is identical. The dial work is where this piece really shines though. That deep blue sunburst catches light like a submariner, and the applied indices give it presence that photographs don't capture. I threw this on a leather strap last month and got compliments from dudes wearing Omegas. But here's the insider knowledge. This model uses the same case architecture as the discontinued SKX line that everyone's crying about. Same water resistance, same crown action, same satisfying click when you set the time. Seiko basically took the SKX formula, upgraded the movement, and priced it for regular people instead of collectors. The secondary market tells the real story though. While those limited editions lose value faster than crypto crashes, the SRPD line holds steady. Check eBay sold listings. These things are moving for retail or even higher, which tells you everything about actual demand versus manufactured hype. Why most Seiko reviews get it wrong. YouTube watch reviews have a dirty secret that nobody talks about. Most creators get these pieces for free, flip through some specs, throw on a few different straps, and call it comprehensive coverage. They're not living with these watches daily, dealing with the quirks, or comparing them against pieces in the same price range. Take any major channel's Seiko coverage from the past year. Beautiful cinematography, smooth voiceover work. But when's the last time you saw someone address quality control issues? Or talk about how these movements perform after 6 months of daily wear? I've owned over 30 different Seiko models in the past 5 years. Some were absolute home runs that exceeded every expectation. Others had issues that only show up after you've lived with them. Talk about crowns that bind up, bezels that develop play, movements that start running fast after the initial break-in period. It's running plus 4 seconds per day, the crown still feels crisp, and the bezel alignment is still perfect. That's real-world performance data that matters more than any spec sheet. The psychology of Seiko shopping. Here's where my psychology background comes in handy. Most people approach Seiko shopping with the wrong mindset completely. They're either looking for the cheapest entry point or they're trying to buy the most expensive piece they can afford, thinking higher price equals better watch. Seiko's pricing structure doesn't work like Swiss brands though. A $300 Seiko isn't necessarily better than a $200 model. It might just have different complications or limited production numbers. The sweet spot sits right in that $150 to $250 range where you get maximum value per dollar spent. The psychological trap is comparing Seiko to Swiss alternatives instead of appreciating what makes them unique. You'll drive yourself crazy trying to find a Seiko that feels like a Rolex when you should be finding a Seiko that performs like a Seiko at its absolute best. If you're serious about getting the right Seiko, here's the framework that's never failed me. Start with movement, then case quality, then dial execution, then price. Everything else is just marketing noise. The 4R36 movement in that SRPD series gives you everything most people need. Automatic winding, day-date complications, decent power reserve, and proven reliability. Stepping up to a 6R15 or 8L35 movement costs significantly more, but doesn't necessarily improve your daily experience unless you're timing submarines. Case quality separates the winners from the also-rans. Seiko's 42mm cases in the SRPD line have better finishing than some Swiss pieces at twice the price. The brushwork is consistent. The polished surfaces actually reflect light properly, and the proportions work on most wrist sizes. For dial execution, ignore the limited editions and focus on the classics. That blue SRPD 76K1 I keep mentioning has better sunburst finishing than most Grand Seiko models from 10 years ago. The applied markers catch light beautifully, and the hands are properly sized for the dial space. The window on quality Seiko pricing is closing fast. What happened to the SKX line is already starting with other models. Discontinuation leads to hype, hype leads to markup, and suddenly, you're paying collector prices for regular production pieces. That SRPD line is still widely available at retail, but I'm already seeing dealers mark up certain colorways. The blue dial I keep talking about was $179 last year. Now it's pushing $200 in most markets. Don't sleep on this opportunity like everyone did with the SKX. When those got discontinued, people scrambled to pay $400 for watches they could have bought for $150 just months earlier. Head to your local AD this week, or check legitimate online dealers like Hodinkee Shop or Crown and Caliber. Get that SRPD 7.6 cone-inch hand, Feel how substantial it wears. See how that dial plays with light. If it speaks to you like it spoke to me, your Seiko journey starts there. The watch game rewards patience and knowledge over impulse and hype. That's your advantage right there. Drop a comment below and tell me about your worst Seiko purchase. I would like to know the one that looked amazing online but disappointed in person. I read every single comment, and I'll personally respond with alternatives that might work better for your style and budget. Let's build a community that makes smarter watch choices together. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.